Hi, Trish.
Indeed.
Right.
All right, we are live. How about that?
We are live.
Got to record us too, haven't I? There we go. Record. Record on this computer.
You're doing great, Omashar.
I know.
You're playing the bumper, Omashar?
I know. No, now we're going to do the bumper.
You're doing
That's
so
right.
good.
It's Grace Jones. Pull up to the bumper, baby. Here we go.
What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good job.
Yeah, well, welcome everybody. And yes, indeed, I am your partial host. And as you can see, captain of the ship. Scott is at the moment swimming across the ocean into his new hotel room. So he'll be with us soon. And so it is so great to see us all. And I am just going to call on two of my beautiful friends, one being Tanjira, and the other one being...
Hi, Omashar. Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday and happy Manifesting Wednesday, everyone, as George Noble is saying.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Awakening World, your Wednesday night edition. And we are so excited to show up as love because we are love in this opportunity of quantum manifestation and attracting the love that you want. I'm gonna say by being the love that you want. And again, we also get to just sit and bask in our friend Tanjila's amazingness, which I just love you. I love hosting with you. I love being with you. You're just wonderful. If you don't know about Tanjila is the creatrix of Soul Search, and she's a long-time spiritual seeker, global adventurer, entrepreneur, and multidimensional guide. So I don't know if you have seen one like this before, but if you haven't, go to soulsearch.io right now while I'm talking and check it out because it's the global online destination for spirituality and consciousness. So spiritual seekers can explore teachings and modalities and connect with spiritual, energetic, and healers and guides with courses and groups and events. It's like the place to connect for all of us loving beings. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Trish. That was an amazing introduction. And I always love co-hosting with you, and your energy is just off the charts every day and in every way. And, really amazing to be here with you and sharing the space with everyone. This is really what Soul Search is about, really bringing hearts and souls together around the world so that together we can help one another transform, rise, heal, and learn. And that's what we're doing here tonight with our amazing group of guests. And Scott is tuning in as he's driving over. Love you, Scott. I see it. I see you in the chat there. So that's great. And we're just so excited to be hosting this show today because it is about quantum manifestation. And, Valentine's Day is approaching. And whenever Valentine's Day comes around, people are like, oh, am I with someone? Am I not with someone? And, if I am, it's about the cards and the flowers and the presents and my meetings, and really, we wanted to take this to a whole other level in terms of manifesting what it is that we want in all aspects of our life, and in every way that brings us love, that helps us truly feel the love that we are. And, we have all these amazing guests here tonight who are spiritual healers, guides, as well as, quantum manifesting in their own world and also in their own love life. And so it's, it'll be a fun conversation for all of us to be having together. Right, Trish?
Amazing. And I can't wait to meet everyone. But first, I want to just give a big loving shout out to Omashar for being just like on the spot, total, like you've got, I'm just going to say you've got big daddy energy right now. You're really holding up the board. You really have your hand on our backs and you're really just like, giving a really sweet living foundation like you do every week. So
it's a beautiful partnership, all of us in this global peace tribe, and we all support each other. So no matter what happens, there is no falling back. There's only upliftment. And I know that we have some awesome guests waiting in the wings in the green room, drinking their spirulina smoothies. And I know that we're going to introduce them probably now-ish.
Great. Yes. And I just want to say big thank you to both Trish and Omashar. I mean, Trish has been a longtime co-host with Scott for the Awakening World, and she is an amazing sex coach, love coach, all of the things. And, she has her own show as well on Facebook, which you can check out. And I'm sure she's going to put all the details in the chat. And of course, Omashar, our amazing house musician, you really blow us away every time, every show, with your music and your energy, really creating this incredible, gift for us with your sound and vibration and your love and light. And it just really comes through in such a beautiful way. So thank you.
So much, Tangela. My pleasure, as always. It lights me up as well. Never know what's going to come out. So I'm going to remove myself and put a few people on the spotlight.
Wonderful. So, we have with us today Iara Line, who is joining us. She is actually from Brazil, but she's based here in Sedona, and she is a family constellation facilitator, therapist, life coach, and so much more. And she, will go more into detail about who she is and what she does. But really, relationships is a lot of what you work on, right, Iara?
Hi, Tangela. Hey, everyone. So happy to be here today. Relationship is the foundation, is love, right? We come from love. Imagine that. Your father, your mother, we're born through love. We are love just through that. And yes, I work a lot of relationships and family constellation because if you stop to think about, everything is about relationships, right? It doesn't matter if it's a loving relationship, or if you're a friend, a romantic, or if you're parents, it's about relationships.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to be diving deeper with Iara very, very soon. And of course, I'm excited to welcome our dear friends and one of our favorite spiritual couples, Ray and Sahat, back to the show. Welcome, guys. I know you love this topic.
Yes, divine blessings, everyone. How are y'all flowing?
Divine evening. I'm Ray.
And I'm Sahat. And we are your favorite spiritual couple.
Thank you for introducing us, Tangela. We are really excited to talk about this. One of my favorite philosophies to dive into is the concept of like be, do, have. In order to attract the things that you want in life, you have to be that person first. So we're excited to go deep on this topic for sure.
And yes, when it comes to that love, when you're looking for that love outwardly, it first starts inwardly. So to find that perfect love, you have to be that perfect love and love yourself perfectly.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Well, excited to dive in more deeply with both of you later. And of course, welcome to Brandon Strabala, our friend and dance coordinator of Sedona and Organite Energy Master here. And welcome. And actually, the idea for this show was your beloved's idea, Danielle, and I'm looking forward to having her join us later. Oh, Brandon, you're on mute.
Yes, she'll be here later. Sorry about that. I'm really, really excited to have her here. I mean, it's a big aspect of manifesting has been all the manifesting that's come into my life, and then manifesting that one person in your life that really adds so much to your life, makes you a better person. So it's a compliment and a thing that we all can manifest. And I think it takes a little bit of work, effort, and time mastering yourself, understanding yourself so that you can be ready for that love as it enters your life. A lot of the lessons are here to teach us to be ready for that eventual love. So, yeah.
Beautiful. And I know that you and Danielle do a lot of couples manifestation. So we're excited to hear about that as well.
Yes, thank you.
And then, of course, I'd love to welcome my beloved Charlie Lamson, who is a spiritual and energetic healer, teacher, and guide. Also, a life coach about manifestation and many other esoteric topics. So I know this is one of your favorite topics too, Charlie. Excited to hear what you have to say about it.
Yes. I can't wait to share with everybody more of the alchemy side of manifesting, working with the quantum field. And like Saha had touched on, it's working within yourself. And as these energies develop, it's like everything comes your way, right? And I've been able to manifest my beloved, as well as like everything else. Everything that's happening in the world right now is like magical. And it's I can't wait to share some different techniques and methods that we can put to practical use.
Amazing. So wonderful. So I'm so excited. We have such a powerful group of healers, teachers, and guides here, all ready to talk about manifestation in the quantum field and just bringing in all of the love that we want and everything else. It's going to be a really fun show.
I'm so excited. So let's.
Well, I think I'm going to play a song.
Well, that's where I was going. I was going to say, let's start off with a little song from Omashar. Get us in the mood.
We're all channeling each other. So if we could mute ourselves, everybody, and I will hope that if anyone is nodding their head and tapping their feet, maybe you can highlight them as I'm playing. And bye. And bye. Hey, there I am. And okay. Let's a few. Right. Early one morning, just as the sun was rising. I'm doing 20 things at once here, so let me do this because I have.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Eleanor's already dancing. I love it, Eleanor. Amazing.
Okay. No need to hide yourself. Come on, Johnny, play the spoons. When time has run its course and the earth has changed her song, the light looking back, nowhere to hold on to, a living dream that's come to be. The days were growing cold, the way they used to be. We wondered, would we make it on through? And now with open hearts, we've come to turn the tide. We are the light, we bring the truth. Whoa. So shine on and shine on. Together we will be the brightest sun. Shine on and shine on for everyone to see that we are one. We are one. Living sun. The day has now arrived, so wipe away those tears and take a look at what you've become. There's love surrounding you, no need to hide yourself. Your brand new life has just begun. Whoa, so shine on and shine on. Together we will be the brightest sun. Shine on and shine on for everyone to be that we are one. Living sun. We are one. Shine on and shine on. Together we will be the brightest sun. Shine on and shine on for everyone to see that we are one. And we'll shine on into eternity. Well, that was fun.
Beautiful.
Yes, I did my best to stay present. It was pretty trippy actually, because yeah, I have this whole screen thing here, and people are coming in, and my mind's going, do everything. But my inner self saying, but you're playing music. How about focusing on that? So thank you.
Thank you, Omashar. That was a beautiful song.
Thank you. Thank you.
I always love your message and how you set the tone for the evening. It really brings us all together and connects us and weaves us into the heart of love and into the heart of what our topic is. So
Yeah, and that was called a Shine On, and it's about us all just realizing that in our hearts we have a golden sun, and that we can all shine out together. And it's from my album, which is called Shine On. Not You Crazy Diamond, but shine on, the beloved one that we are. Maybe it's a crazy diamond, so.
That's so wonderful.
Much, oh my sure, that was beautiful. And I know everyone can continue to catch all of your music on your website on Bandcamp as well. So you want to drop that in the chat, that would be great. And you always just really bring us together in this beautiful way. And I just also love seeing everyone dancing and moving together. We're all on Zoom and we're all on these computers, but just moving together makes us feel, really understand that we're connected on so many different levels. And
Thank you. Well, I'm really excited to hear from some of the people that you've brought together.
Awesome. Me too. I'm very excited as well. And, maybe we can bring on Yara. Okay, great. Perfect timing. And, I'll just introduce her a little bit more fully. As I mentioned, she is from Brazil and is a family constellation facilitator and therapist. And Yara, for those who don't know what that is, you can maybe give them a little bit more detail. And she's also a speaker, a life coach, and has helped hundreds of people with their relationships and personal lives. She's the founder of the Life Change Breakthroughs and the Ancient Knowledge for the Modern Woman. So Yara, I'd just like to welcome you to the Awakening World Show and for joining us here tonight.
Thank you, Tangela. Thank you, Trish, Mashar. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you. And what a beautiful thing that we'll be talking today, right? It's like quantum manifestation and love as well. Now, because we're approaching Valentine's Day, I know love is not just loving another one or having a beloved, but I want to talk about romantic relationships. And the reason why I want to talk about romantic relationships, because I see that over 90% of people that comes to me for a family constellation is because of issues with romantic relationships. And I just want to share with you some observations. As what I noticed, like a lot of people come to the office and say, I don't know what happens. I'm always blue in my relationships. Everything is going well and always having the same way, and they just run away. Usually it's women, I need to admit that usually it's women that comes to my office more than men. But it's normal that woman looks more for solutions, I think. Woman is always looking for like expanding and getting better. Men is catching up also, it is. So they come and say, okay, I don't know what's going on. I really want to attract the love of my life. I already did everything. I went through therapy. I've been doing my affirmations. I have been doing my visualizations and nothing is working. And I know like how frustrated this can be. I feel the frustration when a person comes to the office with that. It is extremely frustrated. And then they think it's their fault. And the good news and things that I notice a lot of times it's not the person's fault. It's not their fault, because what it can happen if the person already tried everything that everybody will say here today, right? All the amazing techniques that you'll be trying and learning here today. If you tried all those techniques, you tried everything, you did your best, and nothing seems to work, I just wanted to keep in mind that may be an issue in your family lineage. And that's how we work with family constellation. I want to give an example as a client example, not mention names, but is a woman that had issues with relationships. And when we did, and she couldn't hold a relationship. And when we finally did a family constellation, we could see that the issue came with a grandmother that was abused by the grandfather and started to reject men. And because that grandmother had some unresolved situation, right? She couldn't talk. There was like many years ago was when women didn't have a voice, and she held that and stayed quiet, and she kept the marriage going because that's how it worked on old days. She transferred that trauma to the granddaughter that wanted to have a relationship so badly, wanted to have a beloved, the love of her life so badly, and couldn't seem to hold a relationship. And we could find out that the issue actually happened with the grandmother, and we make peace with that. She saw, it was like, let's see over here, like even though her grandmother was already deceased, let's say this is the client and that's the grandmother. And she was able to look at her grandmother in front of her and say to grandmother, I'm so sorry for what happened with you. I'm deeply sorry. And the emotions come up, of course. but I cannot carry this with me anymore. This is not my issue. And I can see you. I appreciate you. You're such a strong woman. I can't believe you were able to go through abuse and still be in a marriage, but I cannot take this. And I'll leave with you what is yours, and I'll just keep what is mine. And I ask for your blessings, grandmother, to move forward with my life so I can have the romantic relationship that I'm seeking. I have so much love to give. So it's an exercise that you can do at home. For instance, if you're having issues with relationships and you know there was some very strong trauma that happened in your family that you may be carrying yourself, close your eyes. Imagine that person in front of you and talk with that person. You're talking with that person on the soul level, and say deep from your heart that you're sorry for that. You see that, you recognize that, but it's not yours. And you leave that with that person, and you ask the blessing for that person to move forward with your life.
I love this. Family constellations. If you all haven't done a family constellation, just go try one. in general, it is literally profound. It was one of the most profound things for me, just to see how far back some of my familial patterning went. So I'm so excited. Thank you for sharing the sweet, like letting go of the story from the grandmother. You might just get a call from me.
Yeah, oh, please. I'm open for calls. I love helping people with this, because I know we all came here from to give love, right? We're full of love, and we want to share that love with others. And when there is a blockage and you're not able to share that love, it is very frustrating. We came through love, right? The love of our parents. We're pure love. We need to be able to be giving our love, but work on those blocks that is avoiding us to fully live an amazing romantic and loving relationship. This is just
that's so powerful. So powerful. I love family and constellation work as well. And I just love what you said, that, it's not your fault, because I think that's what we can go into, when we don't feel like we're manifesting that relationship or the partner or something else, we go into this blame game, for ourselves. Like, why can't I do this? I always mess this up. And then that just, brings our vibration lower. And you're showing that, no, this is a much, much, much bigger picture of what's happening. It's truly a constellation that's creating this. And yet we are the creator of our own reality. So we have the ability and the power and the tools to navigate this constellation and come through. So I think that's really powerful.
Yes, we do, especially for that person that already tried everything. Don't give up. Don't give up. There are other things that you can still do, like a family constellation, if you already tried like everything you could try. It is very powerful to work in your family lineage. The good thing is, like, we also bring all the good traits of our family lineage, like the strength, the love and the happiness. That is the epigenetics, right? Because genetics says that you inherit the color of the hair, the color of the eye, but epigenetics now proves that we also inherited the strength of our ancestors, but we also can inherit the traumas of our unresolved traumas from our ancestors. If there is some trauma that related with love, you may be carrying this in your current life, and you don't need to carry this anymore, please. Just honor that ancestor and let it go with them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you're noticing your patterns, you know the ones. Like, I know you know the ones. Yeah, those ones. Yeah, it's just it's the similar cycles. You're like, how did I get here again? This is, I'm sure that you are, like, just the way you hold yourself is gonna just hold everyone in your work. Thank you.
Oh, thank you all. Yeah, this exercise is really powerful. Just imagine that person in front of you and speak.
Mm-hmm.
Speak up.
So beautiful. And Yara, I know you're talking about family constellation in the context of, romantic relationships, but I know that you also really address a lot of other, issues that people may be having around abundance manifestation or other things as well through family constellation. So
absolutely. Yes, abundance, or even like some pains, body pains and discomfort, or mental discomfort as well. Because as I told, the type of client that usually looks for family constellation is the one that already tried like everything and nothing worked. And when nothing worked, you need to dig and see where is over there. And abundance is a big one. And because we're talking about love, I want to say that abundance a lot of times is related with our mothers. So for people over here that may be having issue with abundance, I'm not telling that it will be for everybody, okay? It's not like for everybody, but a lot of times can be related with issues with the mother. So an exercise that you can do as well is to accept your mother in your heart. I know like a lot of us like had issues with our mothers. I would say most people have issues with their mothers. Most people is very, very, very common. But if you can at least like accept on the soul level, you don't even need to say in front of your mother, but on the soul level, you can really be grateful for the life that that mother gave to you. That is pure love, right? It came from love. She loved you like for 9 months in her womb, and the acting of love, she helping you, pushing you out, and as an acting of love, she's breastfeeding as well. So just thinking about that, to really imagine your mother in front of you. And if you can, for some people it's very difficult, can even curve yourself, bow yourself in front, imagine your mother in front of you and bow yourself and say, Mother, thank you so much for the life you gave me. Thank you so much for all the nourishing and for all the time that you spend with me, and feel that gratitude in your heart, and feeling that deep love and gratitude towards our mothers in our heart can be a big change in your financial situation, because there is a strong correlation as well.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. That's a very deep exercise that I think I recommend that everybody can do. Put like one of Omar Shar's songs that is very profound and can bring the feelings within you, and imagine your mother in front of you and saying these words and feeling that gratitude. And for some people, I know it can be hard because maybe they were abused by their mother. And I tell them, okay, so let's imagine your mother number 2 in front of you, the mother that you wish you had, the one that you wanted her to be, but she couldn't be. She couldn't be because she didn't have a way. Nobody's like a bad mother because they want to be a bad mother. I want to be a bad mother. No, it's because they didn't have the resources. They didn't know any better. Usually mothers, they do their best, the best that they can. But you can imagine that mother number 2 in front of you is the same mother, but it's just in another octaves, another dimension, right? Because we have many dimensions of our soul over here. So she's over here. She's a better mother. And then you can bring that feelings of compassion towards your mother. And it's very, very powerful. It can be a life-changing exercise, actually.
I can imagine. I'm going to go do that later tonight. I love my mom. I love her so much. And I know that she could use more love on every plane of existence. So
yeah, mothers are also pure, is pure love, and they do their best.
Let's just twinkle all the moms out there in the whole world, all the moms that once were, are now, and who want to be, and who might never be. Just all of the moms who don't have children. Just
sending the love. Sending the love, because without their portals, mothers are portals. Without them, we would not be here.
Yes.
In a human body, period.
And you know what I'm really excited about being here is Ray and Sahat. I'd love to hear a little bit more about really what that divine inner love is, and how to manifest a sweet, loving, like I can see the zings here. Zing, zing, zing.
So blessings, first of all. And yes. For me, when I really started to get deep into my journey of, okay, I'm learning a lot. How do I apply all this into my life so that I can alchemize a change to the beings that I want to attract in my life, the beings that are needed in my life, to where we're going to amplify each other in this global consciousness shift. So as I was doing synchrogalactic yoga, which is a practice that you're taking the plasmatic energy that's coming from our galactic source, and it's coming through our sun. This plasma energy flows through our chakras. You're taking the energies that are in our chakras and combining a healing particle, but you're using on the last plasma, when you're cultivating this energy, the pure, compassionate heart of love, the love for not just one individual, but you extend that love to all life. And you're raising the vibration of the consciousness and the planet. And in doing this, I spent 2 years of my life celibate, really going deep within myself and alchemizing these changes within, connecting with my higher self, really going deep within my DNA, dream sowing, and taking control of every aspect of my life. And I started to connect with divine beings such as my partner here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For me, it was kind of an arduous path, I'll be honest. I grew up, my first memory in life, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but my father was a little abusive towards my mother. My first memory in life was experiencing that, which was a lot of trauma. I was 2 years old, and I can go into detail of exactly like what happened that night. And so absorbing all that trauma at a very young age was detrimental to me when it came to relationships. So as I grew older, I was searching and seeking that father figure in my mates. And so I ended up in like 2 abusive relationships over the course of my life. And it took me to realize that I had to pour more into myself. And so I had mentioned earlier about be, do, have. Being is the input for doing, and doing is the input for having. So if you want to have a certain kind of life, you first have to become the person who does the things that attracts the things that you were looking for. So back in 2017, you ever try to do something and then like spirit's like, not right now? That's kind of like what my story was like. 2017 was like my big reset, right? I established my first LLC. I was going into real estate. I established my first LLC, and I was like, it was this crazy, a series of unfortunate events where I like was a victim of fraud. I lost like all the money in my bank account, literally like, and then I had to shut down my LLC because I was living halfway across the country in Las Vegas, and some 18-year-old kid just like fell asleep at the wheel and slammed into the back of my car, completely totaled my car. And then like I had put all my eggs in the basket of like being in my own business. And so all of these things were going on. I was starting to get eviction notices because I couldn't keep up with rent. It was just too much on my plate. And so I decided to call my father, and we had a rocky relationship at best. And so I decided to call him, and he brushed me off, and he was just like, we're going to St. Louis. I'm from Chicago. So he's like, we're going to St. Louis for your brother's baseball game. Like, we can't focus on that right now. And I'm like, I'm about to be homeless. And he was like, well, just come home. And I'm like, you don't understand. Like, that's not an option right now. I don't have any way to do anything. And so I was so frustrated and angry. And I feel like a lot of times we embody that emotional state based on what you expect from others. And so what I had to learn was that no one was coming to save me. I had to first be. I had to become my own savior. I had to step into a space of self-love and self-worth. And that was really what was a catalyst to my journey. And so I created this like dynamic routine of self-love where in the rising, I would do my rising routine, and I would do a night routine where I would journal, I would read, I would meditate, I would pour back into myself. And that was the key to becoming the person that attracts those things, right? So first I had to be, and then I had to do the things. I had to get a little uncomfortable. I had to journal it all out, get my emotions out, and realize that I am worth it. I am worthy. And I deserve the things that I want in this life, that I would like to manifest in this life. And I became the person. I did the things, and then I attracted what I needed, So when it comes to quantum manifestation, what I would suggest first is be that person, be the perfect lover. And write it down. Think in ink, because what you write, you invite, right? Write it down. What do you want from your love life? What do you want in a perfect lover? Not what you don't want. A lot of people, oh, well, I don't want a man who does this. That's not what we're talking about. What do you want? What are you looking to attract, right? And write that down, and then become the person who attracts that type of individual.
And set those healthy boundaries, not only for others, but for yourself, and practice self-love, because part of loving yourself is being selfish, and everything, it requires balance when you're navigating. So yes, you can be selfish in a balanced way. That is taking those spiritual baths to release, dancing, doing something that brings you joy, doing
Shout
some
out
art.
to Nora for dancing.
Yeah. Always with the moves. I love her grooves. Yes, just doing something that brings you joy, something that allows you to release that energy that is holding you down, because energy is, or emotions is energy in motion. And so you want to keep that energy moving. Let that happiness always be your guiding tool, that guiding light within, because that is our natural state. Everything else you have to learn.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I want to ask you both the question that I get a lot in the self-love show, because again, we're rooting in the love of self. And a lot of people are like, well, in this patriarchal, capitalistic, oppressive society has taught us that we're supposed to be individualistic, but we are supposed to show up as love as sacrifice. I don't believe that. I don't think you believe that either. And in the sense is like, people are always like, well, it's really like self-love is arrogance or is selfish, and I was like, well, you do live in a human body with like your eyes point this way. I hate to break it to you, that you have to take care of one's body being, and there's a care for this literal physical being going forward. Now, there are the challenges when you get two people who are moving in their own sort of like universe, colliding with another person in a universe. I want to know about that. How do you keep the peace, and how do you really support each other in keeping like your personal peace and your together peace? That's my question.
It's like a
beautiful question.
Yeah, it's like a binary star system. There's both stars have their own charge, and they're both feeding, and there's that synergy. So really that synergy comes from that communication. So communication is key to not only loving yourself, because you have to be able to communicate your truth and say, hey, this is something I need to work on. Why is this something that I'm dealing with? What is this cycle? And alchemize that. So a part of that communication is expressing what it is that you need in that moment, and really having that open channel with yourself and also with your partner, because when you are honest with yourself and you move with integrity, it will show up in every aspect of your life.
I completely agree. And I know it's cliche to say communication is everything, but it is. I think that growing up in separate worlds, separate universes, right? And you were raised a certain way, you have certain values, certain ideals, right? I'm half Haitian, so my mom's like super crazy. And love her, I love her, but she was like very strict, very like multicultural, like very different. So in growing up, I wasn't raised like most Americans were. And you have to learn your partner. You have to learn their love language. You have to learn how to communicate with them. Do not assume anything. because how you were raised or your perception of the world, I'm studying neuro-linguistic programming, your model of the world is not the same as anyone else's. So you have to really delve into communication. If there's a problem or if a challenge arises, share that. Share how you feel in the moment and don't hold on to it either. When you express how you feel, let it out and then let it go, right? Because that's very important, because as Sahat said, emotions are energy in motion. So when you feel things, which you will feel frustration, you will feel tension sometimes, you will get upset, you will get irritated at certain things. And that's okay. That's part of the human experience, right? Is learning how to manipulate and maneuver through these emotions, but express them, share how you feel, share what the other person may have done to make you feel that way or the way that you perceive the situation. And then once you have common ground, literally let it go. Let it go. And I think that is the key to having, and tapping into your inner child. Tapping into that inner child, those two things are the key to having a balanced and healthy relationship, to where it stays, you keep those sparks, you keep it alive and you keep it interesting.
And just to emphasize a little bit more on that communication, because we all have our own love language, be mindful and aware of the love language of your partner, because how they appreciate love being expressed is not exactly how you want your love to be expressed towards you. So
and when we say communication, just to define what we mean by that, is not being afraid to share whatever is on your mind, whatever is on your heart, whatever it is you're experiencing, or whatever your model or perception of the world is.
that's a bar.
Thank you for such a just really juicy and comprehensive understanding of really what ties relationships together.
Thank you. Thank you.
Eleanor is actually asking, are any of the presenters willing to share their love language for some examples? So what you guys like to share some of your love languages, those ones that are the same and ones that might be different?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I am really big on it's so, like, when I took the test, I'm pretty even across the boards, but I tend to gravitate towards acts and of like terms of affection. So I'm very big on, and quality time. I love quality time.
Physical touch is definitely his number one.
That is too.
Physical touch is his number one. Mine is definitely acts of service. So I'm like looking for, did you think of me when I wasn't around? Did you think of me? And so that's like my biggest thing. And so I think it's very important to discuss and understand your partner's love language and communicate with them in their love language.
Yes.
Right? Because let's say, for example, you're operating in your own love language and you're like, well, I showed you love, but that's not how they like to receive love. They don't view it as such. Right? So it's very important to just like recognize what your partner likes, what they enjoy, and do that for them out of an expression of love for them and not necessarily for self.
That's beautiful. Exactly. And Iada, do you want to share what you and your husband have as love languages?
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's interesting. Well, mine, I'm a talker, right? I talk. So I need to put things out. Talk, 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 talk. Here is more like I need to observe his moods. Said, he's a little bit strange. He's walking differently. He's looking at me in a different way. And then I know there is something that is not quite right, but he doesn't talk like right away. He keeps and then I ask what it is that I'm processing. And then after he processes, he can talk. But we have a rule. We never go to bed. We never go to sleep mad with each other. We have this rule in our relationship and it works really well because I had this happen before in previous relationships and was like horrible. In bed if the same person is sleeping, one on one side, the other side, and with that energy of being angry with each other. No. That doesn't work for me or for us in our relationship. And I'm happy with our quote rule that we put it.
That is great. I love that.
These beautiful men that we have here. Anybody want to share? So we can be better. Yes, you pick.
I'll go first. Why not? No, I mean, with love language, it's very similar to what Ray and Sahat were saying. It's like very much touch for me, but for her, it's like doing those nice little acts, thoughtful things that she finds as her love language. And that's one of the aspects. I mean, we've actually listened to a few books on that, and I highly recommend couples figure out what their love language is. I feel like most people didn't even, I mean, I was even reading the book like, that's my love language. I wouldn't have identified that if I hadn't have read this. So I think that's a huge aspect of manifesting what you want, is actually knowing what you want. So you kind of have to figure that out, and knowing what you want or what the other person wants helps make it easier to do those nice things for the other person. And it becomes of service where it's reward to both people, where it makes you happy to make the other person happy. And I think that's a space that I think you need to find yourself in, is be happy to make other people happy. And that's one of my biggest recommendations for anyone out there, is if you're not there to practice, cultivate it, to get into a place where you can be happy, because otherwise you're not going to be happy inside. It's like you got to cultivate that all around, because it's an embodiment, I feel, manifesting. And if you really want to embody love, you have to love the loving things and not feel shame, guilt, or whatever that people feel associated with we're not doing these things. It's like we really do need to focus on the positive and kind of ignore the negative, but reinforce and encourage and celebrate the positive, and you'll get more of it. Versus if you just nag, you're going to get more of that too. It's wherever that energy, it's like manifesting on a quantum level really does come down. And when you're close with somebody, it's like you're manifesting on such quantum levels that you have to be mindful of what you're thinking, what you're manifesting and talking about. So for us, it's, I mean, like all sorts of different things that we like, that we've cultivated and learned about each other. And I highly recommend everybody learn what they like and what their partners like.
Yeah, that's so powerful, Brandon. I love that. And Scott was asking what are Charlie and mine's love languages. Well, I think we can to his, but I think for me, definitely acts of service, just like what Ray was saying, and Brandon, what you're mentioning, Danielle. I mean, acts of service, just knowing that the other person, that he cares about me, that he's thinking about me, and just doing all of those little things, taking care of fixing my brake light, whatever it might be, just all of the things. And it just helps me really feel loved and cared for. And of course, physical acts of affection as well. And like Brandon was saying, I think it's so important to really know and understand your partner's love language. First, know your love language also, like what makes you feel loved? When do you feel safe, treasured? And then what makes the other person feel that way? And it's different. And, for us to be miscommunicating on that level and not feeling loved, that again, puts us in a state of confusion. It puts us in this downward spiral of, lowering our vibration and frequency as individuals and as a couple, and takes us out of that manifestation mode. And so again, it's when two different people are coming together with different backgrounds, different histories, different cultures, different families, it's that whole getting to know one another in that inner standing, I think is key. Charlie, do you want to chime in? And hello, Scott. Welcome back.
I mean,
No, for me,
I was able to listen to everything, though. I loved, Iara, you did such a beautiful job sharing about family constellation and your practice about how to really love our mother, even if we had a hard mom. That was so beautiful. And one of our favorite spiritual couples is definitely rockin'. I love both of your stories. And Sahat, you've given me inspiration. You were celebrated for 2 years. I'm in 3 years now, waiting for the right one. So anyway, I'm loving it. And let's go back to Charlie, because I want to know what his love language is.
All right, thanks, Scott. No, for me, it's definitely nurturing and more like touch and affection. But I can also relate to what Yara was saying about her husband. Like, I'm always processing. And I think that, that if any riffs ever come, it's because I'm not speaking. I'm always processing within. It's part of my personality trait. I'm an INFJ. If anybody knows what that means, I'm always like processing everything around me energetically. And it took me a long time to realize that that's what I was doing, right? Trying to be that self-love and fulfillment, so I always want to give but not take from myself, these kind of things. But for my love language, it is always nurturing, and I love being of service. So this kind of is compatible with Tangela. It's been beautiful. And we come from two different walks of life as well, two different kind of families, two different kind of heritages, all these different things. So I mean, if opposites attract truly, then we're meant to be, because we're like two different sides of the spectrum. But it's fun, and to live life in a fun way is like the world is opening up for both of us, and it's and I'm seeing it happen with all of our brothers and sisters too, and it's a beautiful thing. There's so much I want to share with you guys. So thanks.
Yeah. And I do think, quantum manifestation is so much about release, surrender, and trust, and really letting go, so that we're actually co-creating with the universe what is in the highest alignment for our soul. And so often when we think about manifestation, we're really thinking about manifestation from the ego. What is it that our family has taught us that we want to have? What is it that society has taught us that we should be? What is it that our culture has taught us that we need to have to feel good about ourselves, to feel whole, to feel happy, to feel safe, to feel loved? And so what's interesting is that, we can talk about manifesting, but so often we don't ask ourselves the question, what is it that we're manifesting and why? And is it truly in alignment with the call of our soul? And for so many of us, like, we don't know. I didn't know. I kept trying to manifest my perfect partner. And it was, he was, but he was looking, he was in a different way, because it was based on what society taught me I'm supposed to have, what my culture taught me I'm supposed to have, what my religion taught me supposed to. So I was manifesting him, but I was like, this isn't working. This isn't a fit, and it only took through, a lot of different breakdowns around my own life that, I began to see, okay, this is who I am. This is what makes me tick. This is who I am. And this is who I love myself as me, not who the world has told me that I'm supposed to be. And it took that immense breakdown to come to the true self-love, which I think then allowed that quantum manifestation to come in for my real love, which I couldn't do when I was trying to manifest from that ego place. And I think that happens a lot to all of us. And I know, Brandon, you have a lot of stories to share with that as well. If you want to jump in here and share some of your thoughts on this quantum manifestation and love and abundance and everything else.
Yeah, that's a big one, because definitely letting go of the ego was I think a big lesson of my quantum manifesting. I mean, I wrote the book Dancing Beyond Cancer that kind of went into manifesting my first love, but it was also manifesting that I wanted to master all my emotions. So I got this opportunity to grow through that experience, meeting my wife, marrying her on the day she was diagnosed with cancer, losing her 6 months later, only to have like the dances I throw in honor of her have so many people describe her dancing that it's just been one of these wild experiences. And then in addition to that, through COVID, I started throwing a Friday dance at Posse Grounds in West Sedona, where I just saw so many people in town gathering, meeting, dancing, and doing things that I felt kept the sanity of the town going when nothing else was really actually going on. And it was through that that I actually met my fiance now. And that experience has just been one wild thing after another. And I realized that had I not gone through all the hardship and the having it all, losing it all, and then rebuilding myself after that just breakdown, I wasn't ready for this current relationship until I went through all that. So I had to learn all these things and grow and humble myself and learn, because it wasn't until I started learning that I was ready for my fiance to come in. And it was really weird the way she came into my life, because the way it manifested was just like, I tell her about my book, she comes to the dance, I tell her about my book, she goes home and starts listening to it, and it starts out Danielle, Elise, Claire. Well, my fiance's Danielle, her daughter's Elise, and her dog's named Sedona. So it's just one of these things where she's like, that's how the book starts, and she's like, all right, this is weird. Then it was on top of that, both of them were from New York City, tried out for cats, and then moved to small towns in Arizona where they taught dance. And after a while, I ended up going to her dance studio out in Pine Top where she taught, and my late wife taught here in Sedona. And I swear the dance teacher that came from that studio could have been the twin sister of my late wife, who had also passed away from cancer just a few years before my late wife did. I swear, sisters, like it was so eerie, and it was like one thing after another. And we both realized in that creation of what we had to go through these hardships to find that within ourselves. And then we wrote it into the universe and said, we have to find each other. Like when we are ready, we will find each other. And it's just one of those crazy things, but we really do have to understand that it takes a lot of work to get that special something. And it's like, you really got to put the time and effort. You can't just sit there and be like, I want to manifest the greatest relationship in my life, but I'm going to act like an egotistical, arrogant jerk all the time. It's like, you can't do that and expect the love of your life to come into your life, because you're not at all acting that way. And it's taken me a long time to figure out how to be of service, how to be of highest service, how to just do those things for myself. It's like, for me, it was learning that I have to manifest the way I manifest. I can't do it the way I've read in a book. All the ways that I read in a book is like, yay, that sounds great. But when I applied it, it didn't quite work for me. And then when I took all those ways and applied it to the ways that I can use it myself, and by understanding myself, I was able to, ooh, someone's here. Oh, the person I was just telling that story, and it's amazing because Danielle's here. She's joining us now. She was in the dance. So
was teaching a class.
Welcome, Danielle. So happy to have you here with us. Brandon was just talking to us about quantum manifestation and manifesting his beloved, and we'd love to hear from you. Your thoughts on the topic that we have today, quantum manifestation and attracting all the love. And I know you guys have a beautiful story, and love for you to share your story, Danielle, with everyone.
Well, I was, divorced, and I was single for 8 years, just traveling all by myself and enjoying being on my own. Pretty much decided that that's how I wanted to stay. And the universe spoke out to me in as loud as it could possibly do by giving me all the signs that I read his book and saw all the signs, like so that I couldn't run away or say, oh, we're not, this is can't, I mean, it was just too many coincidences or synchronicities. And it just drew me in. It's like he called me in with his book, you know, which is beautiful, you know, even though it's a sad story. And we both went through a lot of hardships, but it's so worth it in the end. You know, we both did the work, and just being happy within myself. I think those 8 years was a beautiful practice for me to find love in myself and love for myself. And I think that's what opened me up and called in somebody of such quality as Brandon. So yeah, I'm so grateful.
That's so beautiful, guys. And I know you guys do a lot of couples manifestation together. And so would you like to share about that and what that's all about?
Did you want to start or me?
You can start.
Well, what I mean, I've just found, because the way we've worked together, it's just our lives have started manifesting, and it's something actually we've been working on even more and more. I mean, with the way you think, I mean, Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, just mentally manifesting things and looking at the way you perceive the world. I mean, it's all basically neuro-linguistic programming, as we were discussing earlier. It's getting the right way to think, and that I found, again, like Hebrew to be a very powerful thing. And one thing we did was, her mantra was Shanti, and it's Om Shanti, and mine is Shalom, has been a big mantra for me to manifest prosperity. So we've really integrated our mantra into being Shalom Shanti, Shalom Shanti, Shalom. And that way you're invoking this energy of peace and prosperity in an ancient language, to the point where I actually, about 2 weeks ago, got it tattooed on my arm, because there's no way I'm ever leaving this woman. So I'm like, she's about as perfect for me as they come. And
we had to do the work too. We realized well, for me, I come, you know, my mom was a single mom, and, you know, every day she told us we didn't have enough, and it's always about the struggle and all these things. And so I had this limiting mindset, and almost not feeling worthy for things to come to me. I think there was a block, you know, subconscious program playing, and Brandon felt that. And we took some time to take time apart, so that our physical, what we were bringing together in the physical, we weren't going to manifest. And we had to take that time to really examine, so that, because that love, that the alchemy, right, that you have between two people is very powerful. And so we wanted to make sure we were manifesting, that we were on the same page too. And then once we did that, it was so powerful to see how much can manifest in just through the love energy that we share with each other. Is very powerful. So I'm really grateful that I have Brandon to guide me, and that we help each other. What do you always say? Our things, our triggers.
Yeah, well, her trigger, even her triggers are helping me grow. It's like everything about her is so perfect for me. It's ridiculous. Like even her shortcomings make me a better person. It's like, because it's like I want to grow out of my triggers, and I notice that my triggers trigger her, and I don't want to trigger her. So I need to get my stuff in control. And that's a big aspect of how I get to learn to grow. And if I'm not growing, it creates triggers for her. And then I'm like, oh, well, I need to look at myself first. And then we both get to grow from that, because then we both get to look at, well, what's going on here? What's triggering us? And we've done a lot of reading, a lot of working on those things, sitting down and writing, doing the work to understand each other better. Because that's where the disconnects come, is you think you understand the person, but we really don't understand somebody until we really ask some of those hard questions. And that's sometimes you need somebody to help you ask those hard questions. And that's, I think, what Iara was saying, was just asking those hard questions and getting to the root of these things that keep us disconnected. Because when you remove that, you realize that perfect person still is that perfect person for you that you probably initially thought was perfect, but then you did keep doing the work. And that's something that I would have to say for every couple. The work doesn't stop ever. And as we're growing, now we're doing more, collaborating more, creating more, to the point where we say something and the next day it manifests. We're like, all right, what else are we looking for? But it, I mean, also has to be realistic and in our energy field. If we're not thinking that we could manifest $1 million tomorrow, it's not going to manifest. Now, if we have an idea and a creative and we're putting the work and we've done the work and we're like, we have $1 million idea that we're going to sell tomorrow, that we've put the work into because we've created it, that's a different story. And so that's where I say, it's like, you got to expect the work you put in. If you put in $1 million worth of work, you should expect $1 million worth of compensation. And that's something I'm working on personally within myself. How much do I value the amount of work I put into it? And somebody said the other day, I mean, that really got me thinking, what does somebody do of value that's worth $1 billion a year? And it's like, I don't think there's anything of value that anyone provides on this planet that should earn you billions of dollars a year. There's no value that someone provides to this planet that is worth that. You're basically robbing a bunch of people to provide a value. That's the way I saw it. So it's understanding that there is a level of compensation that is respectful for what you offer. And that's something that I think we as creators and spiritual practitioners need to understand. If you just woke up and you've only been doing this for 2 or 3 years, you're not a master yet. You can't charge $500 an hour for your time. But if you've been doing this for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you can charge that for your time. And that's something that I really have a big respect for, is valuing what it is you brought in that experience. I mean, doing a month-long Reiki master course doesn't make you a Reiki master, but if you spend the next 5 years being of service to people very affordably and mastering that and doing it a lot because you make it super affordable, you can become a quick master in 5 years. It's like, I'm doing $10 Reiki sessions for the next 5 years till I'm a master. And then after that, you say, okay, now I can charge more. And that's something that I'm cultivating, as we manifest those things. As what do you want to manifest? How much energy are you going to put into it? And then the universe is going to give you that energy back. Definitely not in the way you expect. I'm like, because I did not expect the universe to reward me with her and everything that we're getting. It's like, I had everything, lost everything, and now I have so much more than I could have possibly imagined, because I didn't keep it in a box. I let it go. I let what I thought I wanted and needed go, and then it just said, okay, well, here's even more. And now I'm just like, okay, well, what can we do now? What can we create now? What is it that we want to do that's of service? And that's where we are now collaborating, where I'm the ecstatic dance person. She's the dance instructor. Modern dance just brings dance out of people. She can paint with people's bodies, and I inspire people just to move their bodies in ways that they didn't think. And between the two of us, we're now doing ecstatic sound journeys, and it's a silent experience where you use headphones and you're guided through an experience of movement that helps people to expand out of themselves
or explore different ways to move their bodies.
And it's something she's been doing for years. It's something I've been doing for years. And now we're collaborating and creating together that essence of ourselves, and still doing the things that we love to do, but finding ways to also do it together. And that makes me even happier to spend more time with her, which, I mean, it's not that we don't spend time. We have a very powerful love language. So yeah.
That's incredible. I think that one of the things that I heard you say, and I'm not going to say it the way you said it, but I'm going to say like this, you can correct me, is really learning how to give. Love is the act of service. And one of the things that I've been getting into recently, I don't know why my attention is drawn there, but there is a rabbi that I really like to listen to, and never in my life my parents would be like, oh my God, how did you get here? I'm the black sheep anyway. But I think his name is Abraham Tversky, and true love is the love of giving. And he talks about fish love. Have you heard this one?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to try to give you an overview, but he's like, a lot of love is fish love, where someone will, you like love the fish. So you're eating this fish and you're da 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 da. And he's like, well, that's not really loving the fish, is it? That's loving you, and you love the taste of fish. But to step out of that love and to actually serve the person that you're with, that you love, to whom you give. And I've been really thinking about service as the act of love. And one of the things in my life, so I've radically changed my definition of love over the last few years, is the radical act of acceptance. The radically accepting, can I love this person or this moment or this beast or this piece of me or whatever it might be? Can I really love this and accept it as it is without the need to change? And anything, just can I be with the discomfort of it? And that's been a wonderful place where to see how I can see that person as they're growing and use their like, however they trigger me or however I trigger them, as an opportunity for growth. And that is one thing that I totally love. I don't know, for all of you single people out here in the world, I'm single. So that means that I've been dating out there in the world. And one of the things that I find is that people, what you said, Brandon, is that you had to kind of get over some things. And what I find is that when I'm dating, people aren't looking at their own stuff. So like someone can be really well matched with you and be like, you know what? I don't want to move anymore. Like I'm good. I don't want to grow anymore. And it's not a growth mindset. So one of the things that I loved about it, and I have this term that I like to use, is called, I want a universally beneficial relationship, where it's not just good for me and the other person, or Tangela and me, but really everyone. Like our winning is everyone's winning. And that, I think, is where we need to really start to manifest, is taking that place of really taking good care of oneself, setting those boundaries like Ray and Sahat were talking about, but really, like, you got to know yourself to show up with another person. You can't be blind to those, like, shadow sides. You got to be like, hey, I got some stuff. You want to work on it with me? Hey, Scott, you want to work on it?
I'm gonna let you and Trish lead because you guys are doing great, but I gotta jump in on this for a minute. First off, I put the link on YouTube to the rabbi talking about fish love, and it's definitely worth saving and watching. It's really great. So thank you for bringing that up. I love it. And yeah, as a coach, real love in real healthy relationship is all about compassionate acceptance and understanding. And we heard earlier, the favorite spiritual couple saying that, of how important it is to really seek to understand each other, because we do have these different definitions. We have these different ideas. We have these different love languages. One of the reasons I'm late was I've had a lot of emergency couple stuff going on the last couple of days. And I was on with somebody who was like, well, if she really loved me, she would know what I need. I shouldn't have to tell her. She should know automatically what I need, right? And this is a mature 55-year-old man who's a successful business person. But it's an example of all these fantasies we have about love. We have these fantasies of you should know, and it'll automatically be perfect. And when you find your prince, when you find your princess, no, it's It's work, and it's genuine, compassionate understanding of, wow, why does he still leave the toilet seat up? Wow, why does her mood change every 5 minutes? And being curious about these things. Anyway, I just had to jump in and say that.
Scott, I love that you brought in the fantasy piece, and it's really relevant because in the course that I'm leading right now, is called Self Secure. I took people through something called grieving the fantasy, and it really is about taking the projection or the fantasy that we force someone else into, and really letting those filters drop away and revealing the whole person, and accepting that that person might not be able to show up the exact way in the specific contortion, right? But to actually let those filters drop away and really acknowledge if you can show up and love, accept, and be with that person as they are without needing to change them. And it was an incredibly triggery and powerful class last night. Everyone's like, whoa. But
I met somebody who I grew up with because I'm a California guy, create what you want, with a idea that arranged marriages were really crazy, that an arranged marriage was like this terrible thing. But I met somebody from India who explained to me the genius of it, because an arranged marriage isn't about finding your fantasy person. It's about learning to love who your hopefully wise parents chose. And it was like, oh, and it is the bust of the fantasy. And like, okay, this is who life has chosen for me. I need to learn how to love this person. And I really saw the spiritual practice of that, which is pretty cool.
I've heard a lot of conversations about that, and I'd love to have a conversation with you just to
tomorrow morning, because tomorrow morning I'm your guest on the Self-Love Show, and I'm sure you have a poster to show by now, or not. But everybody, tomorrow morning I'm her guest on the Self-Love Show, 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, and we're going to have a conversation about men and women, millennials and baby boomers, our differences, and how we still learn to love and respect each other. That's the end of my commercial. I'm going to go back to you and Tangela.
Oh, we haven't heard specifically from Charles yet, and I'd love to. What would really highlight all of these beautiful people's work, especially in regards to soul search? That's what I'd love.
Well, is this for me or Tangi?
Oh, that's for Tangela, but for you, I'm gonna let her lead there.
Well, no, I mean, Charlie, as I call him, I think I'd love for you to share, and just, I mean, I think we do have a really beautiful relationship, and it is a growing process for me, definitely, and I think for both of us. But it's like Brandon and Danielle were saying, it's far more beautiful than a relationship I could have ever imagined to be, and it took me really surrendering and letting go of, like you said, of all of these preconceived notions, of all of these ego fantasies, and really just surrendering to who I truly am. And then once I began doing that, I was able to really bring in, my partner who is my match. And it's been a really beautiful journey, especially because Charlie is very patient and a sacred fire alchemist. So he can alchemize all the fire I throw. So Charlie, if you want to go ahead and share, your thoughts on quantum manifestation and attracting love.
Sure. Thanks. Yeah, so yeah, like Tandy said, our relationship is beautiful, and it's growing, right? Just like when we originally split ourselves into the masculine and feminine energies, it was to know thyself. We did it to know each other better, to know ourselves better, and this is what's occurring. But Scott and Sahat, I've got you guys beat. I was put into a state of celibacy for like 7 years, and this was inner alchemy. This was a lot of
No,
healing.
not 7, please.
Yeah,
I'm going 3.5.
but it was but it was like, yeah, and it wasn't by choice. It was like, yeah, it was by acceptance. Every time I would try to move forward, the universe was like, you're spiraling up whether you want to or not. It's time to do this inner work and come to this conclusion that there's something more that I'm meant to be doing here. And because everything was just, it was like Groundhog Day. Every relationship was always the same way and end up unfulfilled. And I knew there had to be something else, and I intuitively knew there was something within me that was like, I wasn't loving myself. There was something broken, and I didn't know what it was because I didn't go through traumas in this lifetime, but I always felt these energies. And so it took a lot of alchemy. And like what I love hearing the men today talking about is the application of what you're learning, because knowledge doesn't turn into wisdom until you apply it. And once you apply it, you gain that wisdom, that's eternal. All right. When we just fill our brains up with knowledge, that just gets left here every time we cross over. Right. But when we anchor it into wisdom and experience, that goes right with your soul. That's your permanent stuff. And so I had to go through a long process of really alchemizing all these kind of things and finding self-love. And I did mantras and decrees and things, and and I used sacred fire. The first things that really began coming to me when I came into this awakening was like the violet flame and the resurrection flame. And they've been key. And to stop praying for like love outside myself and be calling for my own sacred heart love. And as I did this, things really started changing. A momentum started being built, and I started seeing things changing in my life where things really started becoming magical again. In hindsight, it was like really fast action. When you're in the midst of it, it seems like it's never happening, right? But it was like it really began changing fast for me. Changing homes, and it was always like tower moment after tower moment, but I was able to be less triggered. And I began to realize something was really changing in me where I could stay balanced right in the face of anything. And no daggers could touch me anymore. And I began understanding deeper levels that like the alchemy that we do in this as our frequencies are arising is literally changing our endocrine system. This is where you can get that divine grace, and that sacred heart love is like permanent. And we're not needing to have something reflected back at us to give us a joyous feeling. We're actually the ones projecting it. And and so like having that and becoming aware of these things really changed my life and changed how I perceive things, how I perceive relationships. And this is when I began manifesting. I wanted somebody that was going to be helping me on this, that had the skills that I didn't have, and that I could help give her these skills that I have learned. And so I began traveling. I just left everything and began like a soul journey, like a faith walk, basically, you could say. I left out with a few $100 in my pocket and just began trusting spirit again completely. Found my way across the country in California. And this is where I met Tangela, right? We've had it been told to us a couple times. This is like a Sedona love story, right? Because we met at a channeling conference. And it was like but it was funny. And we went through a time, or I did, seemed so magical to me that I was almost convinced that she was just an ascended master that was appearing to me to be like I was waiting for her to disappear. Like she was just an angel that was coming into my life to like, let me know that there is something coming your way type thing. But here she still is. And not only that, her mastery with the technology and the business and stuff is like, I watch her work, and it's like it's mind-boggling to me. And, I'm so in awe of her. And it helps, and I know it's like, I know I'm quiet a lot of times. Like, I'm not a big talker about feelings, which is an alchemy thing. And, I know I want to get better at it. I want to be doing this thing but I feel her energies all the time. I'm very connected with her energies. So it's something deeper than I have ever felt before. Sometimes those little fears come up, like, is this too much? Is this something like this? And and then it balances out. And, it's been a beautiful, beautiful life. And now I start really getting visions, of what the future potentials are. And it's for all of us. It's so amazing right now.
Exactly. I think, Charlie, I'll jump in too. And I just want to say, like he's saying, it is amazing. And I think, we all talk about the ascension so much, that we're here in the ascension. We're now, we're moving towards unity consciousness. And that is really what we're doing. And that's what we do in all relationships. And I think what we're seeing in our romantic and our love relationships is really, when we say we're here for unity consciousness, that means we're here for love. Like, we're here for love of everything. We're here for love of everyone. And it starts with ourselves, and then it starts with our partners. And, for me, it's been like moving through all of these, coming face to face with so many judgments that I've had, that I didn't even realize that I carried, and really being able to release all of that and say, no, like this, let me release all the programs, release all of the cultural programs, the religious programs, the social programs, the familial programs, and say that I'm here for love. And that's what we're all here doing together as we're stepping into this unity consciousness. And that's what's just so amazing. As Yara said, like, everything is about relationships. And that's what it is. It's like, whether it can be, whether we're seeing someone at the grocery store and realizing that that's ourselves, or whether we're looking at our partner when we cannot understand what they're doing or why, but we realize that that's also who we are. And let me take a moment to try to understand, and let me take a pause, rather than reacting from all of those old programs and all of that old conditioning. So it's like an amazing journey to see, like, this microcosm of our relationship as a macrocosm, reflection of the macrocosm of this entire ascension process and the unity consciousness that we're all stepping into together. Because that's really what the quantum manifestation is all about. Like, we can be and do anything, all of those supernatural abilities are all at our fingertips, but it's up to us to release all of those beliefs, systems, programs that keep us from being able to do any of that. And it starts with us just letting go, and with our love relationships, when we can really let go and allow us to co-create those relationships with the call of our soul, that's when that manifestation starts to happen. As Brandon and Danielle were saying, once you start letting go, all of a sudden you start manifesting, far beyond your wildest dreams, because our mind is so limited. What I could possibly imagine with what I would wanted, who I would have wanted to be with, and what I would have wanted in a relationship, it was so limited compared to what we have now. So it's just really being able to let go and surrender and be in alignment with the universe, and support the universe in co-creating with us. So that's been, for me, it's such an exciting journey. And it really is, that's when people talk about we talk about manifestation, it starts with letting go of that ego.
And becoming aware of when the ego's chiming in, right? That's like, because when you feel that judgment, no, that's not even you. That's not your true self. That's that ego mind that's been here for forever, since our first incarnation. We have no need to defend ourselves or attack others, because that we're the God goddess in human form, right? Like, we are the Christed presence, and that ego just doesn't know what that is, and it feels in fear. And this is but the awareness of beginning to be aware of the thoughts coming in and where it's coming from is like 90% of the battle. And then you can start dealing with your triggers, right? Knowing that they're not you, they're something else.
Exactly. And so I want to just thank, all of our amazing soul searchers here with us today, just talking about this topic. It's so fun to have Ray and Sahat, Brandon and Danielle and Yada joining us for this, really important conversation, I think.
Tell us more about how we can get more of everybody. Since I wasn't here, I don't have that all organized. So I need for people, everybody can share screen though. You all have share screen privilege. So let's figure out how people can get more of Yara and Brandon and Danielle and Ray and Sahat. And I guess I'll start just by letting people know that tomorrow I'm going to be doing a special show with Rayella and Sahat. They are going to be interviewing. I'm going to be in a hot seat with Omashar. Let me bring on Brother Omashar. We are going to be the interviewees, and it's going to be for their Integrator Summit. It's going to be this Thursday at 12 noon Pacific time. I just put the link into the chat box. For those of you watching on Facebook, join our Zoom room right now and you get the links. But if the other thing is, it will be broadcast on my Facebook page and on a lot of other Facebook pages. We go out over the Sign Network, and so it will be broadcast on Facebook. But come on into the Zoom room right now and join us. That's the best way to get all these links.
And I just want to say that the Integrator Summit is such an exciting online event that we've been planning together with Ray and Sahat, as well as Samuel the Angelic Knight. And I mean, I'll let them talk about it as well, but it's really about body, mind, spirit integration, really being able to release all of this old conditioning and programming through all of these different modalities that our different presenters are going to be speaking about and sharing about. It's on February 18th, all day, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Zoom. And so we have incredible presenters, including Scott and Omashar. And so we're really excited just to also do a deep dive with them tomorrow before we get started with the conference coming up on February 18th.
And I've got the poster up, so everybody put it in your calendars. Look at all the amazing people that are going to be there. Alan Steinfeld and the Angelic Knight. I loved him when he was on the show. And of course, Charlie, Tangela, Neil Gar, and of course, our favorite, I have to say one of our favorite spiritual couples. I don't want to alienate, Charlie and Tangela, or, I got to make it one of our favorite. But you guys want to talk a little bit more about the Integrator Summit and a little bit about tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Yes. So the importance behind, or the need behind the Integrator Summit is there is a disconnect in the consciousness community between age and culture. So we are in this new vibrational energy where the rainbow children are ready to come together, and we are bringing we're bringing everybody together, because it's not just about this group over here, that group. We're all under the same cosmic umbrella, and we're all on this same wavelength, because we will go farther, not alone, but by going there together.
Absolutely. And, it's time for unity. And I think that's like one of the things that the Global Peace Tribe is about bringing everyone together. So we honor that about you, Scott. Thank you so much for creating this platform, because it is with unity and with universe. You and I are the first three letters. Right? It takes you and I to come together in order to actually manifest that into the reality. And so it is time for us to move towards a space of unity. It is time for us to move towards a space where we are all acting as if we are one, right? So join us for the Integrator Summit. It's a free summit. All these amazing speakers are coming in order for us to not only integrate the community, but to integrate yourself, mind, body, and spirit. If you're not balanced mentally, physically, or spiritually, then you're not going to be able to step into this space of quantum manifestation. So you have to definitely be able to balance those things first, and then remember, be first, become first, and then that'll encourage the doing, and then it'll attract the things that you're looking to have in your life. So join us for the Integrator Summit. And also, if you'd like more with us, we actually have a private group on the Soul Search community called Cosmic Combos. We basically have cosmic conversations where we have hot topics, we do guided meditations. We also give you spiritual rituals every single week. And it's a safe space for you to share your experience, share your awakening, and share the things that you're going through. So join us on the Soul Search platform as well if you want a little more FaceTime with us.
Yes. And everybody, if you have not joined Soul Search yet, you got to do it. I'm going to go to the link again. This is where you find all these amazing people. I've met probably 3/4 of my favorite new guests on the Awakening World this year have come through Soul Search. And so it truly is an amazing guide. You can find healers you're looking for. Really, probably most of our major people have been on this show, so you've met them. And you can find out all about the different courses, the different events. So you go to soulsearch.io, soulsearch.io. And then also, just for those of you who want to learn more about the Integrator Summit, you can go to theintegratorsummit.com. theintegratorsummit.com. There's the Angelic Knight. I love this guy. There's a wonderful video, and you can learn a little bit more about what they're doing. And yeah, thank you. You know, it's so important for us to have people of different color. That's a big part of my goal for the Global Peace Tribe, is for to honestly not be primarily older white people. Since I happen to be an older white guy, that's what I attracted at first. But, you know, now we've got Tangela, and we've got Ray and Sahat and Yara and all these wonderful, look at all these wonderful, colorful people here. Look at this. You know, it's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. You know, Yara with that gorgeous Brazilian accent. Oh my God. So, you know, just really appreciating the diversity that's taking place here. So maybe a final thought from each of you on quantum manifesting. What are a final thought from each person? And then each, also, if you want to share anything else about how to reach you. Yara, how about we go to you next? What do you want to share?
I think, thank you, Scott. Like a final word in relationships that I also see a lot of in family constellation. It is like, if you're looking for a partner, for a beloved one, just be yourself. Be your better self, but be yourself. Don't try to be another person just to impress or just to get some extra love being somebody that you're not, you know? The right person will fall in love with the person that you are, the way you are, your better self, your best self. And I want to live with that, because it's so important to bring this authenticity. It's something that I see missing a lot these days. And it's time to bring this authenticity back, and things will flow much better in your life if you're authentic. And thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Tricia. Thank you, Tangela, and all of you. I learned a lot from all of you today as well.
Great. And what's the best way for people to reach you? Through Soul Search, or? I
am at Soul Search. If you see, I don't have my Soul Search link here, but if you look for my name that I'll put over here, is Yara Line. Is the I, is not a L. So I'm there at Soul Search as a family constellation facilitator. Yes. I'm also on Facebook. It's the same name, Yara Line. You can find me on Facebook. And I have a YouTube channel as well. That is the Life Change Breakthroughs. But if you put just Yara Line, you're going to find the YouTube channel. And there's tons of videos about ancestral healing and family constellation, tons of materials, free materials over there for learning and expanding and expressing yourself.
Fabulous.
And I've also put Ayada's links in the chat, both her Soul Search
Thank you, Tangela,
and your Life Change Breakthroughs website. So definitely powerful work that you're doing, Ayada. So thank you so much for sharing with us today.
So you can find everything on Soul Search. There it is. It's like right there. Awaken to your extraordinary life. Can you imagine how wonderful it would be to awaken with this wonderful woman guiding you? Totally.
We all deserve, right, to have that life, that extraordinary life. We're not ordinary beings, people. We're extraordinary beings with superpowers. As Tangela said, once you remove all those things, all those blockades, that thing comes to fruition. You can have your extraordinary life. And you can co-create whatever you want to create and co-create in your life. Is beautiful.
Awesome.
Thank you, Yara. Amazing.
Thank you all.
And then Brandon, I know you have, and thank you to you and Danielle. First time we had Danielle on this show, so I'm so excited to welcome her. And
I'm excited to be here.
Danielle, it was your idea to actually have this show, so I'm so happy that you came up with the idea and that we were able to, you know, host it and have both of you be a part of it and sharing all of your wisdom with us as a couple.
Thank you.
And I've put a couple of Brandon's links in the chat, his Soul Search link, his Organites link. And if you guys have any others you'd like to put in, Sedona Dances, you know, feel free to drop those in too, Brandon. Danielle.
Absolutely. I mean, really, one of my last thoughts is right along with Tiara's statement is be yourself. I mean, if you had told me 10 years ago or 12 years ago now that I was suit and tie finance, business guy, played soccer, used to like hang out and drink and do all this other stuff. If you had told me 12 years ago that I'd be dancing around sober with silent disco headphones, making crystal pyramids, in Sedona, Arizona, like believing all this crystal stuff, I'd have thought you were crazy. But it was like when I really cultivated and went in and found out who I was, it's like I love ecstatic dancing. And it's gotten to the point where you just saw like the ecstatic journeying now, where it's taking people through that experience. What helped bring me into who I am now is that movement, is that experience, and showing people and that opportunity and doing it in a way that she brings her talents is just magnificent. So
yeah, we're really excited to birth this together. It's so fun to finally find something that we both have been building for years that comes together, and it's so perfect. Like we were like, what are we doing? This is like such an amazing thing. We didn't even think about doing it. So we're happy to share it at people's retreats and go to people's homes because they have the headset so we can play the music anywhere and they could hear my voice through the microphones, so they can be anywhere on the property while we're doing this journey. So it's going to be really fun, and just to guide them to feel like water, you know, feel the air, you know, just different imageries that I've been trained in to use to guide people. So I'm really excited to share that.
No, I'm super excited. And then she just teaches dance, and it's just like Sedona Dances is, I think, the epitome of what we're creating here is Sedona's dancing. And it's so many other people coming together. And that's, I think, the beauty of it is you have a vision, and it's like, but don't be connected to the outcome, because the amount of things that can create and manifest are so infinite. And it's really powerful when you get two people together and you get aligned on that same path. And that was, like I said, something we even, after 2 years of being together, just a couple of months ago, made sure we were on the same path. And we realized we weren't on the same path on certain things and had to reevaluate ourselves. So it's showing you, even after a few years of a relationship, you still have to do work. You still have to reevaluate, look at yourself. And that's finding that authentic self, because you're going to change over the first over years. And if you're with somebody that's right for you, you're really going to grow a lot. And that's, I think, something that's been powerful with her that she's gifted me, is just so much growth, so much love. And I'm so blessed to have her in my life. And that's I think, the power of love. And I'll let her
Thank you for
say.
having us.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And I'm looking forward. I'll be in Sedona most of March. So
Yay.
I'm looking forward to dancing with you guys and seeing you all. And hey, everybody, it's travel time. So meet us in Sedona in mid-March for the Ascension Conference that Suzanne Ross is doing. We're going to do a show with Suzanne, and she'll be coming up on the show this weekend at the Conscious Life Expo to talk a little bit about it. So, and then of course the big retreat, it is happening. We're going to do a retreat in LA. The rumor is that Trish will be there. So we're excited about that.
Confirmed. Confirmed.
Confirmed. Yes. 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 And again, speaking of Trish, please do join us tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. on the Self-Love Show. You'll get a conversation you've never seen before between Scott and Trish. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And then have a little breakfast, and then come join us again with Ray, Sahat, Omashar, and myself as we have a really quality conversation, and they get to interview us. I'm going to be curious to see what questions they ask. So tomorrow's going to be a very, very full Global Peace Tribe Day. And then finally, there's still time for people to come to the Conscious Life Expo. Tangela will be there, and it's going to be really fun. I'm going to be doing the Awakening World show from my room, my hotel room at the Hilton, which is where the expo is happening. And confirmed guests, Raquel Spring is going to join us, Daniel Brinkley, Elizabeth April, the twin Ray, Kimberly Meredith, and many, 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 many other friends. Tangela, hopefully, is going to drop in and join us over the weekend. So you can join us over Awakening World, Zoom, or come to LA. There's still tickets available. It's going to be a great, great show.
Yeah, exactly. We're really excited about Conscious Life Expo, Soul Search. We have a booth there. It's 507. So if you guys are coming, come stop by and say hello in person. We have a lot of our soul searchers who are going to be at the booth. Of course, Charlie will be there. Raquel Spring will be there. Charlie and I are doing a talk on rising in cosmic unity and an activation at 12 noon on Saturday. And then I will be moderating a panel on twin flames and soulmates at 5 p.m. on Saturday with the twin Ray, Gail Thackeray, I think Karen Reese, and a number of other people. So that should be a real fun panel. And it's just going to be a great show, great expo. And then Scott, we're going to be doing the Global Peace Tribe retreat back in LA at the end of March, and I'll be hosting another psychic fair there April 2nd. So we have a lot of stuff coming up in LA.
Amazing spring coming up, just amazing. Spring has already started in my reality, so it's really very exciting. So Charlie, I'm looking forward to seeing you this weekend in a couple of days. And I'm going to put the focus. First of all, thank you, Trish and Tangela, for taking over while I was taking care of business and freeway. And it was kind of cool to be able to listen to you guys on the freeway. I was like, wow, you can actually watch while driving. But I really also really want to thank beloved Obashar. He was just heroic in pulling it together today. So thank you, bro. And I would love to close with an Obashar song.
Always a pleasure. And before we go, just to me, thank you all of our guests tonight, because I'm really a newbie in intimate relationship. I don't think I've ever had one relationship where I've fully opened my heart and dove in. The only relationship that I've actually can fess up to is a relationship with my daughter, and who is now 15. But the first 7-8 years of her life, my heart was so open. I was in so much service. I know what the potential is with another person. And so hopefully in the next year or 2 or 3, I don't really care anymore, but maybe a relationship will come, and I'll have some clues as to not get in my own way, because I know that I've gotten my own way so much in the past. And so I'm going to sing us a closing song. Well, it's not a closing song, it's actually an opening song, and it's called This Heart of Mine. And thank you, Tangela and Trish, for rowing the boat. That was fun. And here we go. Here we go. Do you like my background?
Great background as always. I love everybody. Does everybody see the little heart? The little heart where the earth is?
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Yes. It's a slow burn. Thank you, Yara. Hope springs eternal in this heart of mine, learning surrender, learning to fly, knowing you're with me, my invisible friend, loving me onwards, calling me out of myself. Here I go again, trusting in life. All of the tears I've cried, clearing the way. All that's been said and done is turning to dust. And now that I'm here again, I will sing praises to the maker of my life. I will sing praises to the maker of my life. One heart, one breath, one love, one life. Knowing you love me, that we're divine. Our hearts are open, our hearts are thine. I give my life to you, your hands in this world, open and flowing, calling me out of myself. Here I go again, trusting in life. All of the tears I've cried, clearing the way. All that's been said and done is turning to dust. But now that I'm here again, I will sing praises to the maker of my life. I will sing praises to the maker of my life. One heart, one breath,
And a gallery review, everybody. Let's all twinkle Omashar for his amazing, wonderful music.
Thank
His
you.
wonderful leadership today. Thank you, Tangela and Trish and Iara and Ray and Sahat and Sylvia and everybody. Brandon, Danielle, Martha, Dia, Leaf, Albrina. Oh my God, everybody. What a beautiful global peace tribe we have here. And look forward to seeing you tomorrow on the Self-Love Show. And then the special event that I'm doing at 12 noon with Omashar and with the beautiful favorite spiritual couple of many people. Take care, everybody. Have a great evening. See you soon.